And we're live. Cool. Thanks everyone for coming to today's edition of the Node.js Community Committee meeting. This is the meeting of Thursday, July 25th, 2019. I'm going to be helping run the meeting today just because Adam is stuck in traffic and he asked my Larry to help. So offered to help. So do we want to go through initiative updates? And as of last meeting, I believe that also includes OpenJS Foundation updates. So either OpenJSF or ComCom Initiative. Anyone wants to speak to the work they've been doing? Feel free. Should I take that as nobody has any updates to share from OpenJS CPC or board or anything else?
I guess I can add a few things. One, I do recommend if people are interested in following that, there is an OpenJS Foundation projects distribution list. And actually that's, a great way to keep up to date with what's going on. Jory does a good job of sending out an update after each meeting, which kind of covers what was discussed as well as, other things that are going on. So I'm just pitching that in terms of something that's useful to keep on track of. Otherwise, it's still a fair amount of the work is around bootstrapping. So, things like the issues we'll get to where, updating the charters, that we have one to open, update the ComCom charter. There's also a bit of work around starting to take some of the existing projects through our onboarding process. So that's helping us to sort of, check out the checklist we have and that kind of stuff. And I guess the last thing I'll say is the OpenJS board meeting tomorrow. I've looked in the board. There's a TSC board, which I've suggested we should move to admin, which I will do soon. But I think I mentioned this last meeting, but the board meeting's tomorrow. I don't have any issues on my list or plate to bring to the board this week, but if there are any, you can let me know before then. Is it just me who can't hear Tierney? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I was on mute. So one thing I would like to see is that in the initial foundation discussions, like the merger discussions, there was a lot of assertions around new membership joining because due to merging and there being one foundation. I would love to get a report from the foundation or feedback from the foundation on if that's happening or not, and if that's being followed through on.
Right, okay, so I can try and see if I can ask that question, if there's what we can talk about on that front. Okay.
Cool.
So I can give an update. We had a member join this week. Vincent joined at the silver level. And then we also had Sauce Labs, who was formerly a member of both Node and the JSF. They had taken a step back for a few months and then came back, and they joined a few weeks ago. There are a few other things that are in the pipeline, but to be honest, I think the biggest thing for getting the membership pipeline going is having the project pipeline up and healthy and working, which of course this work is in progress right now, as you were just saying, Michael.
Yeah, I'm mostly just trying to follow through on a lot of the assertions that were made around both foundations merge, and then we have a bunch of new members, specifically from some former board members. So I just wanted to kind of get the context that was following up on those assertions.
Yep.
Okay, is that so? Did Brian's update? Is that what you're looking for?
It would be nice to have that as a more formal thing we get consistently from from our board representative to the project, and kind of set up that cadence and normalize that. So that was kind of what I was looking for.
Okay, like a regular update.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Yep. That is more of what I'm looking for. I want to make sure that that's normalized for us and for other projects.
Okay.
So. Yeah, and just during the public session, I do usually give an update if there's a change like that in membership. But I recognize that maybe that's that might be buried in the middle of the of the public session of the board call.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, what I'm going to start by doing is adding an entry on the board, which basically says, you know, a regular update on new members. Because I think that makes sense, and that'll be a reminder to me.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Do any other initiatives have updates they'd like to share? I saw Tracy, I saw you unmute yourself.
Yeah. You're so perceptive. I can just give a quick update on the mentorship and the user feedback. I mean, user feedback session we weren't able to run this week, or sorry, last Friday. So we'll be meeting 2 weeks from now. We're always looking for people to join. So if you care about the user feedback related stuff, feel free to post an issue or comment on the repo. Mentorship, we're meeting this Friday. And based on the last update I gave at the last ComCom, there hasn't really been any like strong updates. I mean, just things are being moved forward. We're still in the process of getting things going with the mentors and the mentees. And then also just a note, of course, that we are always looking for people who have and do contribute to Node.js core to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to be a mentor too. That's been a big thing. Another thing, actually, I'll share this with you. We had a great conversation at the last mentorship meeting about how to make this a little bit more scalable, right? Like right now we only have about 10 people who are doing it because we only have 10 mentors. And so we're talking about another initiative kind of separate from the one-on-one pairing to say, hey, can we maybe do online pairing sessions? And, it's like a 1-to-many ratio, or pair one mentor with 2 or 3 mentees as well. So we always welcome, number one, more mentors, and number two, if you do want to get involved in these types of initiatives, feel free to find the repo and comment, and we'd be happy to have you come.
Cool, thank you very much, Tracy. Manil, do you have an update from website at all? I know there's been some stuff developing there, but I'm also not trying to put you under the bus.
Yeah, so I'll do a quick update on website redesign. I realized that after we moved repos, we didn't actually update the readmes for ComCom. So I'm gonna go in and update that, and so why I'm updating that is because the repo is the activity for website redesign, admin activity is moving from website redesign repo to the node.js.dev repo. So it's just being collected all in one space. So wherever the development is happening, the admin activity is also going to happen. The first repo, the original repo, has now been archived. So changes, actually, I can't actually make any changes in there and indicate stuff has moved. During the summer, some work on there has slowed down, but it's going to start picking up. Last meeting, which was last week, we had some updates around internationalization. Someone has come in and offered to help work on that. They had initially done some work on the original node.js.org, and they're going to be bringing some of what they've done into node.js.dev. That's all.
Cool, thank you very much.
So I had an update, if I can go now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So in the last meeting of our Node.js outreach, we decided that we are going to build a new community page of sorts, because the current community page we have is just 4 links to present meetups and a couple of things. So if anyone want to kind of volunteer for that, I have just shared the link for the issues that we are dealing with that particular page there, and it's probably going to be in the node.js.dev. So Manil, watch out for that.
So it's specifically the community page. Cool. One thing that I'm curious about is, I know we've talked about a getting started page. Like we talked in the past about like the card idea that basically just has a link on it that then we can update that web page. And by card, I mean like a physical business card. The project was handing those out for the foundation sites, and I had asked and we got an approval to do that. for the community side of things. One of the things that, kind of needed to finalize was us to have a page, like the content for a page. And a suggestion I made is I've picked up the Getting Started repo, which is node.js/getting started. I will paste the link there. I've just gone through and kind of tried to polish that up a bunch. And it includes things outside of Node, like outside of core. And things inside of core, like it's both, right? Could these two things be merged potentially and have all those links inside of this and then have this be pulled to the Getting Started page? Or I guess it's probably different, is like a community page and the Getting Started page. But I do feel like it's somewhat related, and it might be worth considering trying to merge these efforts and like having Getting Started also include community to some extent. Like I would also be right.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. Right now, we are focused on kind of building the content for that page, and later on, we are going to go ahead and see what that page should look like. So definitely, any content, we can easily remove any content. Right now, I'm trying to throw more content at the community page than what we have.
Yeah, and I feel like I actually really like the things you pointed to in that. I think it's a good idea. Cool. Yeah, I will see if I can try to help out with that a bit at all.
Awesome.
Any other updates? I believe Eva might have had an update.
Yep, I have an update. Hello. We just did the meeting on the kickoff meeting for the AMAs, and basically we have a basic format of how we want to do it. We're going to try to get 2 to 4 guests each time for the panel, and then another 1 to 2 hosts to moderate. We're going to send out requests for questions beforehand. We're going to try to not do too many questions on the spot, and then we're just going through and picking different topics that we want to do, and then also we're going to try to get some tweets out to poll people on what exactly they want to hear too. So we're going to kind of try to combine what we think they want to hear with what people say they want to hear, and then put it all together and make it work. And then we've also been working on Collab Summit and the Code and Learn. The Code and Learn has kind of been the big topic of conversation at the moment, trying to figure out what we want to do with it. Nobody seems to really want to continue with the way that we had done it in the past. So we're working on figuring out where we want to go with it right now. And it looks like at the moment, what we're thinking of doing is trying to get teams that are attending, that are going to attend, if their company has a particular issue that they're working on, then we want to assign somebody to them and then literally try to fix that issue at Collab Summit. So that's kind of our general idea. We're still trying to figure out the logistics of how all of that would work and refine it a bit so that it fits everybody's needs. We opened up the CFP for Collab Summit and for the Community Corner. We're going to have one place where everybody submits. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of divide them up based on what the topic lends itself to. If the topic is more collaborative, we'll put it in the Collab Summit and people will talk about it there. And then if it's more of a talk or workshop style talk, they will do it and we'll kind of direct them more towards Community Corner. So just moving along on both of those things. I think that's all my updates. Anybody have any questions?
I'll also
Where can we?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, where can we find the links for those CFPs?
I don't have them at my fingertips, but I can get them. Okay. Or Bill, do you have them easily? Let's see.
Yeah, you don't. It's not like urgent. I was just curious. Like, cool,
okay.
Awesome. Sounds good.
And then I'll just. Sorry, go ahead, Eva.
I'd have to go look for it, but I'm happy to send it out later if you guys would like
it. So just a reminder that if you are planning on going to Collab Summit, feel free to start submitting through the travel fund. It's July and it's in December, so we should definitely start planning ASAP. In addition to that, if you do want to get involved with either the AMA stuff or the Collab Summit stuff, I've created issues on the repo, and you can always, in those different issues, you can always just message me, ladylee@node.js.org, or anybody else, and we'll add you to the different meetings. So we're currently having these meetings every week, just as we sort of get situated. So, we'd always love help. Also, from a sponsorship perspective, if anybody's interested in sponsoring any of these initiatives, feel free to also message us and let us know.
Cool. Okay. Any other initiative updates? We're almost 30 minutes in. Cool. I'm going to take that as a no, and we can go ahead and move forward with the agenda. I think we only have 4 items. I have to pull it up again because I clicked off of it. I believe we only have 4 items, maybe 5 on the agenda today. Cool. So first item on the agenda is chart update to reflect new OpenJS Foundation. This is an issue by Adam that was labeled CC Agenda 28 days ago. I don't believe there's any update here. I don't know of any open PRs, and I don't see any open PRs that address this. So I believe we'll need to wait for Adam to finalize this. And I for context, I believe this was what I was talking about with Adam in last week's CPC meeting. We just have not been able to schedule something this week because I've been extremely busy. So yeah, we will be working on this together as far as I know. So that's the context of that issue. Does anyone else have questions, comments on that issue? Cool. Next agenda item is allow champions to be ComCom regular members, not just voting members. This is, again, a holdover item from May 31st. I don't know if this still needs to be on the agenda, so I'm actually going to take the label off unless anyone objects. And for context, it's because there's been no additional updates to this work. And I believe we actually need to wait for the OpenJS Foundation charter changes to land before we can or should proceed with this. Cool. I will take that off and comment that it's blocked by the previous discussion. That is actually my understanding, that we should be landing that first and then moving on to something like this. Cool. Knocking these out quickly. Node.js social media community collaboration. Rachel, are you on the call?
Hello. I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, just fine.
Okay, perfect. So just an update here. Tierney and I met last week to go through the blog that's kind of been floating around there. Got some really great feedback. Made those changes directly to the document and posted it in the issue. I know some of you have had a chance to go through and review some of those updates. And if you haven't, please do. And I think at this point, we're just kind of waiting to see what, if there's any additional feedback before we, make this thing official. So are there any questions? Or, I mean, Tierney, you and I had a really good session. So I don't know if you wanted to bring any insights or feedback into where we landed on some stuff. But I'm feeling like it's definitely progressing in a positive way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I think we spent like an hour on this the other day. Mm-hmm. For the topic. We spent an hour and a half on this the other day, I think last week. And I think we definitely made a lot of progress. Like, I had a lot of minor objections to certain things in it, and those all got resolved. Specifically, I think the biggest thing was titling, which is like relatively resolved. I think there's a couple suggestions that are right there currently, unless that's one suggestion. Or okay, title options, cool. Yeah, so we worked through that. Specifically, there was also another change of co-chairs, just because I was concerned about co-opting the kind of titling of chairs in the project. We settled on delegates, since that's a relatively accurate and also existing term. As I say, as I'm a TC39 delegate right now at TC39. But like that's already a term that's kind of used in our ecosystem, and it accurately describes this. So if people have issues with that term, I think now would be a good time to raise that. But personally, I think that's a much better term that creates something new in our project, but not new in the ecosystem, that also accurately describes what they're doing. Additionally, we worked through a bunch of smaller things. I tried to add in some links, and some kind of more developer kind of focused text, and kind of help give it a little bit more life in terms of like reaching developers effectively. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where this is, and very excited for this project to move forward.
So do we want to talk about what next steps are, or is that still just folks have a look at this? I just kind of want to understand, so that I certainly don't want to, I don't want it to be, you know, it's something I have to do. I just want to be clear what that next step is.
This has been open for a very long time, since the beginning of the year. We've discussed it several times. We've had several iterations of editing. Does anyone else feel they need to edit it more, or have more specific feedback on it? I guess the even asking that, I do not believe we have quorum, so I don't think we actually make that decision. But my suggestion would be to mention. Well, are you in the Node.js organization? You're not. Okay.
Does this actually require a vote? Like, I'm just wondering.
It doesn't require a vote, but
right.
We can't actually make a decision without quorum, can we?
Right, but I'm just wondering if like our typical decision-making process is everybody's aware, if there's no objections after some amount of time.
Right. But without quorum, can there be no, like, is there an adequate number of people to not object?
I don't think there's any. I think, like, from my mind, the most important thing is everybody had a chance.
Yeah.
It's like in a vote, you need to have a certain minimum number of people, you know. But in the consensus seeking, it's really the absence of objections.
Okay.
And like, you know, in some of our cases where we do PRs, there are requirements for a specific number of, you know, +1s. Something like this, I don't know that we've ever had, like, it has to have at least 2 +1s or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, you know, it's not like it should be a surprise to anybody anymore. And we've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, how many people? How many ComCom members do we have here? Right.
I think we have 4 or 5.
It would seem to me that, you know, if we've got 5 people who are like, yeah, it's okay to go forward, and we haven't had any objections.
Yep.
Unless and it's been open, like you said, for quite a long time. So, like, unless it was something that under our guidance required a vote, I would think. You know, the last thing might be to just say, let's send out an email that says, hey, we're going to start this as of, you know, the end of this week. If you have any last time to object, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so that's a good suggestion. That's what I would suggest you do, Rachel, is send an email to comcom@nodejs.org. I'm saying, you know, hey, in today's meeting, ComCom, you know, didn't object to this, and, you know, toward the end of the week, or at the end of the week, well, yeah, tomorrow, or beginning next week, since tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
Beginning, you know, Monday next week, we're going to begin moving forward with this.
Okay.
You know, if you have any other feedback, please send it before then so we can get it addressed. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and move forward.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you, Michael, for the suggestion and clarification. That was very useful.
Yeah, the only thing I might say in the future, we might want to say, like, we created an issue in ComCom where we could, you know, that said, hey, we're doing this, and then that would be the, you know, place people could plus ones or whatever. But anyway, I think this one has been well discussed, and anybody who was going to object, I'm hoping already has.
Cool. In that case, we can go. I'll take that as a yes. Cool. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to discuss on this? Cool. In that case, we'll move forward. Just opening up the issue again. Next issue is Node.js collection next steps. I believe this is Rachel as well.
Yep. So I've been working with Waleed to get the guidelines updated. We had a couple of rounds of just like edits and just going through and making sure that all of the proposed language is in the updated document. So in addition to that, a Trello board has been set up, you know, per the recommendation from last time. So that needs to be shared with the Medium technical reviewers. The changes still need to be published to the README. And Waleed, correct me if I'm wrong on that. That hasn't been done yet, right?
No, I still need to open the PR. I just needed like final. I need to go through once more time to see if there are like formatting or typo. Then I'll create the PR and we can discuss the PR. Like everyone else from the ComCom can discuss and we can make changes.
Perfect. Perfect. So my update there is that this is well underway and we're making good progress.
Cool. Awesome. Sounds good. Any other feedback on this, discussions, suggestions? Cool. I will take that as a no. In that case, so as I've not been sharing for a while and I didn't actually go through and mark things as CC agenda, is there anything else anyone wants to add in this, since I didn't go through and do all that because I only saw it like 10 minutes before?
Yeah, everything tag should have been, unless there were new things that were added.
No,
since the meeting.
sorry.
Yeah.
Previously, I used to go through and like go through all the issues because we're not very good about tagging things before the meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So
okay.
that was one of them. One thing I would like to discuss is removing labels from archived repos. It's issue 505. I'll put the agenda on it now, just since we're discussing for context. So I do a lot of work around good first issues, specifically labels. I build tools around this and try to help enable it more. One of the things I've noticed recently is that a lot of our tagged good first issues are permanently frozen because they're in archived repos. So I can't remove them without unfreezing those. So I want to kind of get +1s or permission before I go unarchive and then archive again. And there's additional context here because I only have the ability to unarchive as a moderation team member because ComCom, unlike TSC, does not have everyone in the org everyone in the team is not an owner of the org. So I only have the ability to do that because I'm a moderation team member, which is an org owner. Everyone is an org owner. So I want to get explicit permission before I go ahead and do that, since it is like an accessibility issue in terms of getting more people, pointing them to good first issue. So
how many repos are there?
Evangelism and the old website redesign ones are specifically the ones I was coming up against the most. And Evangelism has been archived for a while. But there's a few. I think there's like two more. I can't recall them off the top of my head.
I was just thinking, like, if it makes you more comfortable, I'm happy to like unarchive them for you, let you remove the archive, whatever. I mean,
yeah, I'm fine to do it. I just I don't want to cross a barrier that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
It is more of where I'm going with that. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I've come up against similar, the same issue too with labels, not for the same reasons Tierney has, but when, for example, in the old website redesign repo, when we archived it, we left some agenda tags on there, and now they're permanently showing up in all the meetings.
So I feel like this is also slightly possible reasoning for ComCom. I know this is a discussion we've had previously, but ComCom members becoming org owners in addition to TSC members. It's just managing our repos is not something that we can technically do without permission from others, whereas that's not necessarily true for the TSC, right? I don't know if that's a discussion we need to bring it up in admin, but I know there was previously kind of a lot of pushback on that from the TSC. I don't know if that would also currently be true, but it's something to consider. Yeah. Is that something that I should do y'all want me to go create that issue? I would be more than happy to do that if that's something y'all think is valuable.
I'd find it useful. I'm also wondering if there's a way for us to get a feel for whether or not there would be very much pushback before we go off and make that issue. Yep,
that's a good question. I can try to ask around and try to get some feedback before I go ahead and open that.
Yeah, if you want me to do something too, I could ask in the next TSC meeting.
That'd be helpful. Yeah, that would be
something like that, and see if there's, or I could send I guess the other way would be to just send. Well, I guess I'm just thinking we could send an email on the TSC mailing list, but that's maybe just the same as.
Yeah, that's what we would already do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if I ask in the meeting, it's almost the same thing as well, right?
Right. Yeah, and I'm more asking about actually elevating the ComCom to that level to appear rather than a subclass, right? So yeah, that's a whole discussion,
Okay.
and maybe that's one we should have later.
Do something.
Yeah, I will.
Leave it in your hands for now.
Cool. Yeah.
In terms of this one, I know I'm looking at the issue, and I +1 because I guess what you're asking is other people to jump in there.
Yeah, if other people could +1, that would be nice, just because I technically do not have that power via this, but I do have it. There's also other things that would be useful for example, transfer issue. Yeah. But in this context, yes, that would be particularly useful to basically have that. Just undo this work, and also for the same reasoning that Manil, we could probably knock both those out with the same kind of thing at the same time. So get both of remove those issues, unlabel them effectively for both of us. So if people could +1 in there, that would be stellar. I'm willing to do it if there's +1s, if there's consensus from my team. But yeah. Cool. So Sala pinged me about issue 507. I currently think that this may be one we should all go and kind of read through first before discussing in a meeting, just because it's a lot of context to follow up on. It seems valuable, just very highly looking at it. But I think maybe we can label it. I will label it now for the next meeting, and then we can. I don't think we use CC review anymore, but yeah, we can all go and look through this. I will ping node.js/comcom. Cool. I've commented for the node comcom to please check this out before the next meeting, and we can discuss it in that meeting if that works for you. Salah. I hope I'm pronouncing it well.
Certainly. Like the whole idea is just, just bringing it to the attention. Whenever it's picked up, that's fine. I understand there's a lot going on. I can hear already in the meeting with everything going on. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. We'll want to discuss. Cool. So on 505, I will, if that is, if there's +1s, I will go ahead and just do that. Otherwise, I might work with Michael to see if he can just unarchive them and then archive them for me.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, yeah, that would just be awesome.
On Slack, or not on Slack, on Twitter, I can undo them.
Yep.
You can let me know and I'll redo them. So if that's easier, makes sense.
Great. Thanks. Yeah, I will do that. Just I don't want to overstep the moderation barriers. I think we can probably wrap this up. Anything else anyone has? Cool. We will end the stream. Thanks everyone for coming, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.